Dave Popkin, WBGO Studios. My guest is a fantastic singer and piano player who was born in Texas, raised in Louisiana, and when not touring the world, has spent much of her life in the music hub of Austin. She's been nominated for 5 Grammy Awards and has won countless blues music awards. She is a member of the Austin Music Hall of Fame and the Austin City Limits Hall of Fame. It's an honor and pleasure for me to welcome Marcia Ball to WBGO. How's it going?
Thank you. Very well.
That's great. Um, Michael Arnone's 32nd Crawfish Fest has returned. It'll be held at the Sussex County Fairgrounds May 30th through June 1st. Great lineup this year. You'll be playing on June 1st. I'm looking forward to seeing that. What makes that event so special?
Well, everything about it. The lineup for one thing. George Porter and Galactic and everybody who's on the show and everybody who has been on the show for years and years, and I've played it for years and years.
You mentioned Galactic. Folks may know them, a big New Orleans band. Another one of the headliners at Crawfish Fest, and they just did a record with one of your musical heroines and friends,
Yeah,
Irma Thomas.
right.
And yet, listening to that, you can't tell if she's 54, 64, or 84, which she is. I thought it was remarkable.
I know, and she sounds great. I saw her at the Jazz Fest in the Gospel tent, and she still sings like an angel.
She really does. You mentioned Jazz Fest. You must have played a half dozen times or more that one week at Jazz Fest this year. You must be exhausted. But what were the highlights of the week for you?
Well, I played first with C.J. Chenier in Lafayette at the Festival International, and that was great, and it's the tribute to his dad, Clifton, and the 100th anniversary of his birth. And so it was great, and I get to do that. And then at the end of the thing, on the on May 2nd, we got to do a show with everybody, Sonny Landreth and Eric Adcock, and the woman who plays the uh, rubboard, the frottoir, with she's the daughter of Cleveland, the granddaughter of Cleveland,
Hmm.
Chenier, and so it was great. Roddy Romero, you know, everybody, and CJ.
That's your musical family. And speaking of CJ and Clifton Chenier, who was the late great Zydeco King, you mentioned his centennial this year. You're going to be playing on a star-studded new record that's coming out late June, including the Rolling Stones on there and Steve Earle and Lucinda Williams and others. What song did you do, and how would you summarize Clifton and his legacy?
I did a song called "I May Be Wrong," and I just looked it up. I had done "Think It Over One More Time," and I'd done "All Night Long," and I'd done "Hot Tamale Baby," but I found that song, and it's a cool groove, and I just that's the song I did.
Did you get to
So,
know him well? Clifton.
um, Clifton, I had seen him a bunch. I had seen him at Jay's Lounge
Hmm.
and Cockpit in Cankton, Louisiana. I had seen him in Austin. In fact, when Antone's opened in 1975, I was there and Clifton was playing.
Mm.
And I was there on the first night, and I was 8 months pregnant. So, so my son Luke is 1 month younger than Antone's.
I'm glad you brought that up because I love Antone's. For the folks that don't know, famed blues bar in Austin, 50th anniversary this year. They have various events, South by Southwest. They're coming to New York, Lincoln Center, big show
Right.
June 29th. Um, can you put into perspective how much that bar, that venue, has meant to not only the city of Austin, but the art form of the blues in general?
Well, it is the blues headquarters, and um, there were six venues, 6 times that it came around, and the first one was on East Sixth Street in a clothing store that they created a, um, a venue, and two of the best ones were on Guadalupe and on West Fifth, because everybody who was playing the blues, all the Chicago guys, all the Houston guys, everybody, and the Austin guys, Jimmy Vaughn and Stevie Ray and Derek O'Brien and Denny Freeman and everybody, Angela Straley, Luann Barton, everybody was there at that time in those places. So it was precious.
Absolutely. Fabulous Thunderbirds and many more coming through Antones. Let's go back to Irma Thomas a second. You and she did a duet on a Fats Domino tribute album some time back. And when I need to get in a better mood, I put on Fats.
Yeah.
Your music has that same fun, rollicking quality to it. How much did you take from him?
Well, I took a bunch from Fats. I took more from Alan Toussaint. I was when I wrote, I was wanting to claim Alan Toussaint. I wanted it to be Toussaintish, and so and the one thing I did, the one song I did, "You Make Me Happy," is um, completely Toussaintish. But I just worked at being that way, and Dr. John, and Irma, and I got to say Etta James too. I covered tons of Etta James and Irma.
Well, that stuff is the best. Good choices. Marcia Ball is with us here. Alligator has been your recording home since the turn of the century, about 24, 25 years now. Your last record with them coming in 2018. Do you have plans to record again?
Yes, I do. I've written a bunch of songs, and we're, in fact, this month we're going to work on. I've got my band coming in for a one gig on the 13th and one gig on the 18th, and we're going to work between that time on doing songs and putting together a song, a record.
That's awesome. Really look
Yeah.
forward to that. You mentioned the band. You always have, at least a sax player because that's kind of the feel of your stuff, and sometimes a horn section too. But who's in the band these days?
Um, I've got Johnny Moeller
Wow.
on guitar, who also plays with Kim Wilson and
Yep.
the Thunderbirds. Um, Sometimes I have Willie Pipkin on guitar
Hmm.
because, Johnny's off playing with Kim. So I've got that guy. I've got a guy named Michael Archer on bass. He's from Canada, and he's married to Emily Gimbel, who is um, Johnny Gimbel's granddaughter. And she's a great jazz piano player and a great singer. So Michael is playing with me sometimes. And then because he's with us asleep at the wheel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then I get Nate Rowe or Johnny Bradley. It's kind of squirrely the way I'm putting together, but Eric Bernhardt is the sax player who's always with me, and and Mo Roberts, Morris, um, who worked with Shamika Copeland in New York. Yeah, so
Well,
that's my band.
that's a
in
top
and
notch.
in and out.
Hey, that's how it goes. When
Yeah,
you play as many gigs as you do, it looks like a pretty full schedule this year, right?
yeah, it is. And I had Mighty Mike Shermer, for years, and he married a girl in Reno, Nevada, and just went there.
It happens. We follow love, right?
Yeah.
You have been so involved in your community, helping other musicians, public radio benefits, fundraisers, and an organization in Austin called Home. What is that one all about?
Well, it's called Housing Opportunities for Musicians and Entertainers. Nancy Copland put that together because she always can name a organization, but it's called Home. And we started with um, Lavelle White, who came back to town, and she was broke and had no resources and had no place to stay. And we got together at my kitchen table and talked about how we could help her. And what we did was do a concert with all women, except, well, all women. And she, we earned enough money to put her in an apartment for probably a couple of years.
Hmm.
And we recorded the record, which is fabulous. Shelley King, Carolyn Wonderland, um, Emily Gimbel, um, Sarah Hickman, Rosie Flores, um, a bunch. Sarah Brown played bass. It was great. So um, now we have grown to what we did was after that we started keeping on, and now we have 32 clients and growing. So we pay their rent, and they're aging. It's 55 and older, so we paid their rent or utilities or both. And
Well,
yeah,
that's a great and noble purpose. As Springsteen says, we take care of our own. And
right. And
and
I wish we could do it in New Orleans and Nashville and Chicago. And, you know, it'd be great if we could spread the word.
totally. And you mentioned all of those terrific female artists, and you've been a pioneer, obviously, in that regard, touring and recording for over 50 years now. Um, you mentioned Carolyn Wonderland, who's going to be coming up here on the program soon. I just talked to Sue Foley recently,
Yeah.
and have had, Joanne Shaw Taylor and many, female artists on the show. And then there's the next generation, right? There's Ali Venable, and there's all these players out there. What is this status like right now, like the state of the union for the women in blues? Like where does it stand right now in your view?
Well, I'm concerned that at festivals, there is rarely more than one or two
Mm,
women. And, you know, women are active, they're very musical and, so, um, but they're playing in clubs all over. And I just read about um, three women who are headlining at Kerrville Folk Festival and ACL. Um, that are, and one of them is Sarah Hickman's daughter, Lily.
mm.
So, and they're three women together and sound great. So, there's that. But otherwise, there are women out there all over. I went to Jamaica with the Jimmies. I don't know if you know the Jimmies.
No.
Um, Jimmy Bagley has a band in Madison, Wisconsin.
Hmm.
And I went there with him. I've done a bunch of shows with him um, and the band. It's great. It's a great band. Um, but Joanna Connor was there,
Mm.
and man, she shreds, and sings great. And so, that was I had I had heard her, a few times before, but I was blown away by Joanna.
I'll have to check out more of that. I do know her music a little bit. Tremendous artist.
Yeah.
The one I want to leave you with here, Marcia, is you've met so many people, played with so many people. Is there one or two instances that stand out to you that you're like, wow, I can't actually believe that happened? Like, did you play with Muddy, or did you play with Stevie, or like these kinds of things as you went along? Like, what are a couple of the high points that really stick out to you?
Well, I have played with Muddy and Stevie, but one of the things that happened, I played with Jerry Lee Lewis in New York at the and
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
no,
Oh, at a gig?
yeah,
Yeah.
at a gig. I can't remember the name of the club,
Yep.
but he took a picture with me, and his doctor, who was there, um, took the picture, and he he was holding me around my waist, and he pulled out a comb, and it was a switchblade, and and it went boom, and he, he poked it at me, but anyway, that was that was an experience. But and it was a comb and wasn't a
Yeah.
knife. So
He wasn't actually the killer. He was just called the killer. Yeah.
right, exactly. And his sister is living in Austin now, Linda Gale
Yeah.
Lewis.
Hmm.
She's a great piano player and a great singer, and she sings down at a club in Austin, Sam's Town Point, um, on Tuesday nights every week, and she's wonderful.
I will have to check that out the next time I'm in town. I don't
Yeah,
need much of an excuse to go down there. I got to get back to there and Antone's and the Continental and all the other good joints in town.
Sea
It's
Boys. Sea Boys is another club, and Sam's Town Point,
well, I look forward to seeing you.
and the Saxon. Yeah, there's great music every time,
I
all over.
I'm glad that that's still the case. Yeah, I know that it's changed a bit, become a bit of a tech bro town, and really developing and a lot of traffic and all that stuff. But I'm glad there's still the soul like of the city and of the music scene there.
Right, exactly.
All right, cool. Well, I will see you June 1st at the Crawfish Fest, Sussex County Fairgrounds. Look forward to what's coming up on Alligator Records and safe travels out there on the road. We appreciate you doing this.
Thank you so much.
You make me
Great to see
happy all
you.
the time, Marcia Ball. Thank you.